Hey guys, welcome back. I want to come on and talk to you about your participation in the stock market. I do want to say quick thank you to everyone that's in the group asking questions, commenting, liking posts, sharing your experiences. How we get better is getting more information, getting more experiences, and sharing that with each other so that we can grow on our path to building wealth. If this is your first time or if you're joining me on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like, share with a friend. So today I want to talk to you about your participation in the stock market. It should come at no surprise to you that I enjoy and I advocate heavily that people invest their money in the stock market. It's just one of the ways that you can be build your wealth. But the funny thing is there's less barrier to entry about building your wealth through the stock market. Nearly 4 in 10 people have access and are participating in the stock market through typically their employer sponsored retirement plan, your 401k. And while that is a great statistic, that while that is a great opportunity, your 401k, and oftentimes there's a match involved, many aren't participating at the level that they should so that they can actually build the wealth that they desire. And that's what I want to talk to you about, your level of participation. How can you increase that? It's important that you understand first that why choose the stock market? Well, like I said before, it has the least barrier to entry. Number two, if nothing's shown you, it has a long exact history that shows you over time participating in the stock market will return dividends to you in the form of interest, which helps you grow your wealth. And then third, as far as risk is concerned, well, the biggest thing about your risk in the stock market is with any risk in any investment is you lose your money. But as this past year has shown you, when the illness popped up last March, it is important that you understand, hey, that dip, the S&P 500 dipped down 30%. And since then, it has fully recovered. And what it does is it shows you that time and time again, just like last year, there are many different instances throughout the stock market history where it has dipped and cut in half and cut 20% and dipped down and did so many different things where it went down. But continuously, if you pan back and look at the full history, it has grown consistently each time. It has consistently grown up. There's never been a time where it went down and it stayed down and now it's coming. No, overall, it has consistently risen while through the dips. So it would encourage you and it would tell you when you look at the history, and it's not just my word, I would encourage you to look up the history of the stock market, look at how the growth has happened, and look at the trajectory. But the fact is, it's constantly going up. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that if the worst thing that can happen is that you lose your money, well, you lose your money when you actually sell and it drops. But if you stay the course and if you continually participate, you will find that your wealth and what you earn is so much higher than where you began and what you started with from your initial investment. And that's the importance that you need to know. See, even at the lowest income of 35,000 or below, there's about 1 in 5 people that participate in the stock market. And though they're only participating about average balance of $8,400, it is important that you see, hey, that at least gets you going. So now that you're in the pool, or you done dipped your toe into the water, how can we start to think about how you can start increasing your level of participation? Well, immediately you want to go through and look at your actual situation of how are you participating. Do you have maybe an account where you buy some crypto? Do you have an account maybe you buy single stocks? And then do you have like your 401k? Is your money kind of spread about? What I want you to do is come back and look at all the different ways you deposit and invest money into the stock market every month and get a total for that. Is that $500? Is that $1,000? Whether it's a match, whether it's not a match. Then second, I want you to look at what is your employer doing? What are you doing at the money that is gonna double right away? Are you getting does your employer have a match? And are you getting the full match from your employer? Many people, this is the common mistake that they leave that money on the table and not even getting the full match. And what I would say is, number one, you're again leaving money on the table from your investment. That's more money that you could have invested. But two, that also puts you at a lower pay rate from a total compensation standpoint, because that's a benefit that's usually considered in how an employer is paying for you. So you don't want to leave any money on the table if possible, but you want to get that match if possible. And you want to understand the parameters of that match. Are you fully invested after a year? Are you fully invested after 4 years? What is going to be required of you? Because that is going to be a factor in, hey, if I leave, what am I leaving on the table? And should I use this as I'm going on to the next employer? The second thing I want you to think about is, what is your money actually invested in? Do you know how it actually works? Well, like I said, when using the example of the S&P 500, that has been a measure that we track the stock market. And so it's important that if you're invested in the S&P 500, you know you're invested in the 500 top companies in the US that tracks the economy. And for that, we know that the S&P 500 over the past 50 years has returned about 10%. So I know that on average that I will get a 10% return on my money. If I put $1,000 in, I should expect about 100. Now, the things that are shades of gray that we don't understand is, some years it's an average. So that means some years you might be at, like this year, 40%. Next year it might be at 10 or 12%. It's an average over a duration of time. So it means that there are some times where it's lower than expected, but on average you come across a great return. And that would be substantial. And then next, understanding that just like last year, when the illness happened and the S&P 500 dropped 30%, it has fully recovered that 30% at this point, June 9th, 2021. So I would encourage you to really look and understand your investments from that point. You're putting your money in this. You're putting your wealth is on the line. You want to know how it's going to participate. This is business. If you go and you buy a product from a food place, if you get some fast food, you want to understand what you're ordering. You want to know how it's prepared, and you want to make sure there's no discrepancy in what you're getting as a return. The same thing as your investment. You want to know how much money you're putting in, and you want to know what you should expect along the ride to get that return and what's going to be needed from you. The next, I would say, is while we still lack in a good full participation, like not even 50%, it's important that you understand how much it's the dollars that matter, not always the percent. It's the dollars that matter that put in. What can you do to get yourself to $1,000 a month? What can you do to get yourself $2,000 a month? And how can you do that? And how can you set your life up where you're perpetually putting in this money every month, and you're actually enjoying your lifestyle, meaning you get to enjoy the day-to-day things, enjoying time with friends, taking that spontaneous trips, taking those doing those spontaneous activities of spa and relaxation, and maybe you want to jump out of an airplane, whatever the case may be. How can you utilize this tool to, in the background, be setting you up for financial success while you enjoy your lifestyle? See, I want you to understand it's not about you putting yourself on what most people think is a punishment, a budget, but putting yourself on a plan to where it takes away all the things that you enjoy in life. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to actually build your wealth, and because you're the first one to build your wealth, so that not only are you enjoying your money, but your money is being more prosperous for you. So when you go work and you make $1, you're able to turn that dollar into 12, 15, even $88 just by investing in the stock market. And again, this is just one avenue. And that's why I advocate for the index fund, because number one, it's one of those things that if you understand how an index fund really works and you understand the performance of it, it can simplify your investing, because as your wealth grows, complexity will come. So the more things you can do to mitigate and put in place while you're moving this plan, that will help you in the long term of your investing from a management standpoint. Next, I want you to look at what things can you get rid of, i.e., in your budget plan, in your spending plan, that or you can avoid or you can transition and find a more efficient way of doing that can help you move forward. So, things like, do you take a list to the grocery store? Things like, average person has about $150 in services, internet, and um, Netflix and Hulu and all those different types of services. What can you do and not even use them? So what can you do to only use pay for the things that you're using and pay for the service where you need it? Do you need internet all around your 2,500, 1,500 square foot house when you only really use internet in one place? Do you need all those services of Hulu and all those different things when maybe you're busy and you're not at home for that, but you're constantly spending money that way? That could be money you could be enjoying your life, saving, or investing. Next, what can you do to maximize and monetize the skills that you have to make your investing journey easier? See, a lot of things when it comes to difficulty of saving is people don't mind saving, but they often see it as a barrier to how they want to enjoy life. And I got to tell you, putting money away is is it fun? Oftentimes you be like, I'm doing this, that money is sitting there, but could I go enjoy it more? And this is why you got to have that equal balance so that mentally you can strengthen your savings mindset to where you're saving at a rate that is so automatic and it's from a dollar standpoint, it's so much to where you're not even missing what's going on so that your work and while you're sleeping money is growing in the background. So however you decide to do it. And then lastly, what are you spending money on in the form of debt that you essentially could just restructure your life once you got rid of the debt so that you're able to move forward in a more smooth, efficient fashion. These are things I want you to look at in your particular situation so that you understand, hey, I can invest money and my money can grow and I can enjoy life so that once you reach a level of success financially that you want to walk away from your normal working career or you want to start to transition to really invest into your own business or you want to just take a hiatus from work altogether, now you can begin to focus on those things because you have the opportunity. This is not about save and invest and not have a life forever or have a life and all this, but you don't get to have wealth. No, this is about how can we accomplish both. And I want you to look at all your decision of how can I accomplish multiple things rather than I gotta choose and this is what it is. Now, you do have to choose whether or not you want to enjoy life and build wealth or just enjoy life. But I want you to understand that you can do both. You can have wealth and enjoy your life right now, however you choose, whatever you decide. And to be quite honest, some of those decisions and some of those things you will use to enjoy life, you don't even know and you haven't even encountered yet because you haven't put yourself in that position to where you're open to that opportunity. So I would encourage you, really look at how your participation in the stock market, learn what you're putting your money in, get with a professional that can help guide you and teach you, and I'm willing to help and walk beside you as well. And then look for ways to increase your participation from a dollar standpoint per month. Go from 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500. If that's changing jobs, if that's starting a side hustle, if that's cutting down on some bills, or if that's a multitude of all three, you can do this to put yourself in a more financial position. And then lastly, realize everything you do is not just simply for your benefit. Think about those that may come after you, that where you paved the way and did the hard work and were prudent with your money puts them in a springboard to their own success. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel as we're trying to grow that. If you're in the Money Talks group, please invite your friends and family. It's important that we have a discussion. We start to give people the tools, resources, and information they need to be financially successful. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.